Welcome everyone to the Inland Sports Show. Before we start the show, make sure you like this video and you've subscribed to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. And if you're a local business or organization and you'd like to promote yourself on this show, just send us an email, inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. The show starts right now. Garcia's left footed. And what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez, live and amplified here at Teen Vision TV 16. Johnny Nunez behind the scenes here directing the program. We got a great show for you tonight. A lot of high school football. A little bit later, we'll check in with Liberty head coach Adam Contreras. Big win for the Bison against Jacinto in the previous week. We'll also check in with the Rancho Verde football team. They'll take on Heritage on Teen Vision TV 16 later this week. And, of course, the big one the following week against Orange Vista. And we'll also check in with JP Raineri from the Valley News down in Southwest Riverside County to talk some Riverside County football with JP. But we're leading off the show with one of the top running backs in the state, certainly the southern section. It's Centennial High School's Cornell Hatcher, having a great season, running the ball hard for the Huskies on the ground, having them poised to win another league championship and hopefully make a deep run in the Division I playoff. So here's our interview with Cornell Hatcher.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He's the starting running back for your Centennial Huskies, coming off a big win against Vista Murrieta. Another big game against Murrieta Valley coming up in the Big West Upper. It's Cornell Hatcher. And Cornell, man, from week 0 against Mater Dei to where we are right now, do you feel like this Centennial team, specifically this offense, do you feel like it's actually getting better as we get deeper into the season?
I think we're definitely starting to improve. Like, we're not even starting to. I think we've been improving throughout the entire season. You know, we start off playing the number 1 team in the nation. Then a few weeks later, we go out to Vegas to play Bishop Gorman, number 2 team. All the teams that we've played, have been ranked in our really good teams. Some of the best football I've seen while at Centennial. So I think just that alone's gotten us better. As an offense, it's helped us grow, especially as a defense as well, from what I've seen. So I think just all around, we're starting to click more. We're able to play with each other a lot better, and it really prepared us for league.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to lose to anyone, you lose to the number 1 and number 2 teams at the time in the entire nation. You guys had some big wins. I'm thinking of Punahou, at the down there. I think it was at Cathedral Catholic High School, I think, in non-league play. But you guys have had some big wins this season. It has so far through the first 8 games. Is there a game or a moment or something that sticks out to you, like a favorite play or something like that you've really enjoyed so far this season?
I'd say a play that I really enjoyed was I'd say I guess there's 2 moments, both in Punahou and Liberty. Uh-huh. We were down in the last minute of both of those games. We had to drive down the field and score, and it wasn't even we had a short ways to go. It was almost the full length of the field on both times. So I think those were those moments right there will really stick with me this year.
Yeah, and that was a dramatic finish in that game for you guys to get that win. Cornell, when you look at this offense, obviously Matt Logan is a mastermind when it comes to putting together an offense and a game plan and whatnot. But you got Hassan Longstreet back there at quarterback, and he's got 3, 4, 5 receivers that he can go to at any point.
when you look at this offense, I feel like it's pretty balanced. I mean, they can obviously give you the ball probably 30, 35 times a game and be fine with it. But, I mean, Longstreet and the receivers, man, they're doing their job too. When you look at this offense, do you feel like it's pretty balanced and you guys can do a lot of different things? For the opponents, like, pick your poison. Do you want us to throw the football? We will. Do you want us to run the football? We can do that too.
Yeah, I feel like it, like, us being a balanced team really helps us out for what we want to do, because there's, like, we can do whatever we need to against any type of defense that we play. Like, if they don't want to respect the pass, we can just throw it deep. If they don't want to if they want to respect the run, we can just run the ball. I feel like it just opens up a lot of stuff that we can do.
Cornell, how long have you been playing football, and were you always a running back, even ever since you were like a little guy?
Yeah, I started playing for the Corona Chargers, but we practiced up the street from Centennial at Citrus Park. I was a running back then when I was 7 years old.
Did you always want to be the starting running back at Centennial? Because I've been around the IE for about 12 years, and Centennial always has at least one, but they've always had a stud running back every single season. That's something you always like, hey, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Centennial, and it also helps because one of my coaches growing up was Coach Danny Shavitsky, who was the freshman coach here. So I always wanted to go to Centennial and play. And then, like, Friday nights, of course, you go and you watch the games, and I'd see people like J.J. Taylor, Trey Watson, stuff like that. So I always did want to come to Centennial, play running back.
Yeah, man, they got this like running back high school right there, man, just cranking out all these great running backs. Trey Watson, like you mentioned, J.J. Taylor. Cornell, let me ask you, you got Marietta Valley this week, and I know the Nighthawks are coming off a tough loss against Chaparral, but they got a great quarterback. They can score a lot of points as well. What do you think is the key to victory against Marietta Valley this upcoming week? What do you guys have to do well?
I really just think it's like, knowing our assignments, knowing what we have to do as an offense, being able to, set the tone fast, make it understand that, we're in control of the game.
Yeah, and you guys score so quickly, man. You guys get back to the line. You snap the ball so quickly, I guess, to keep that defense on their heels on the other side. But do you guys just like to, again, you don't waste time. You guys are explosive on offense. 60, 70-yard, touchdown plays are common for Centennial. I feel like you guys get out on the field, 2 or 3 plays later, you're in the end zone already. You guys are so quick on offense.
Yeah, it's definitely something like we pride ourselves with, being able to, after plays, man, being able to get back on the ball fast and run the next play, and being conditioned enough and well enough shape to be able to do that. Just run plays over and over at a fast pace.
Cornell, how about that Liberty game too? We were talking about Punahou, and guys beat Liberty from Arizona too. Like, those are 2 really good teams, and you guys found a way to win that close game, both those close games at the very end. I mean, what do you think that says about this year's Centennial team, that even when it gets tough, you guys do find a way to get that win when it matters?
I think what it really says about it is just that we're used to being able to be in a battle. We're used to being able to, in tough moments, being able to look to each other and rely on each other, and not let the scoreboard get into our heads, and just understand all we can do is just go out into the next series and try and score again as fast as possible. So,
even specifically, Cornell, about that Liberty game, you guys were trailing in the second half, but you feel like because of the offense and how quickly you guys score, you're never really out of it. You feel like you can score a couple quick touchdowns and you're back in the game.
Yeah, it's always funny that a lot of people talk about we'll be down by a few scores, but we'll never really it's always, we're thinking we're still going to win this game, if we can just do our assignments and stuff. We always like to just tell ourselves that a win is never out of reach until the clock hits 0.
Yeah, you guys are in every single game, because that offense, man, you guys, again, not only do you just get, back to the line quickly and you got a lot of snaps, but, man, you guys, a big play offense, and you guys score so quickly. Cornell, let's finish with this. I mean, you opened the season with Mater Dei, played those guys tough. There's probably a very good chance you might see them again, as Centennial routinely does, see them in the semifinals. What do you think you guys have to do to maybe even get better? I know you guys are playing good football right now. You're probably peaking at the right time. You're still trending up. But what do you feel like you guys some areas that you feel like you can still get better, so that when you get to the Division I playoffs, you feel like, hey, we've got a real shot to get to that title game?
I feel like, as a team, all we need to do is honestly, it's like learning from our mistakes that we've made, you know, past weeks, looking at the past games where we've lost and we've come up a little bit short. Like, I know on my part, something that we could improve on as an offense is turnovers. I think if we can get that down and then, you know, like I've been saying, like knowing each other's assignments, knowing what needs to be done, executing our goals up to like, you know, what we've practiced, you know, play how we've practiced, you know, practice how we play. I think if we can just do that, we'll be able to, you know, pull off the win.
Well, Cornell, listen, I really appreciate the time. Congrats on the season so far, man. It's been a lot of fun following the Huskies this year, and I know there's still a lot of football in front of you guys this year, hopefully a deep playoff run as well. Good luck against Marietta Valley this upcoming week, Cornell. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Centennial running back Cornell Hatcher here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
All right, so that's Cornell Hatcher, running back for the Centennial Huskies. They are going to play in the Ken Sporting Goods must-see game this week. Let's check out the fancy graphic because the Huskies trying to wrap up another outright league championship in the Big West Upper. They got Marietta Valley, and the Nighthawks, they're going to be fired up. Tough loss against Chaparral in the previous week. And it's going to be some great competition. Great quarterbacks, Bear Bachmeyer and Hassan Longstreet going head-to-head. And it should be a fun one as Centennial continues their march towards the league championship. And, of course, the CIF Southern Section Division I playoffs. It's the Ken Sporting Goods must-see game, Centennial and mighty Marietta Valley. That's coming up this Friday. All right, so that's the Ken Sporting Goods must-see game, but we got a bunch of big games coming up in week number 9, just 2 weeks left in the regular season. Johnny, let's look at some of the top games in week 9. North Vista taking on Patriot in the River Valley League. Ontario Christian versus Aquinas for first place in the Ironwood League. The Falcons, the defending champions, at home up in the Dino. Summit versus Eisenhower, first place in the Sunkiss League on the line. King versus Temecula Valley, that is basically a playoff game in the Big West Lower. Rim of the World versus Carter, that's kind of a playoff game in the San Andreas. Elsinore versus JW North, that's a playoff game in the Ivy League. Whoever wins that game will probably finish in 3rd place. And Redlands East Valley hosting Citrus Valley. The Blackhawks coming off that big win against Cajon, and for Citrus Valley head coach Kurt Bruick, he's going back to play his former team, which isn't necessarily newsworthy. He's already done that before in the past, but he's going back to Rev to play on campus at Rev for the first time on that stadium that the Wildcats just built. They spent a lot of time. I know Coach Bruick was instrumental in laying a lot of that groundwork, right, to finally get a stadium on campus. He's going back to take on his former team. All right, when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show at Teen Vision TV 16, we are going to check in with the Rancho Verde football team, the Mustangs captains, here on the Inland Sports Show when we come back.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Rialto, right off the 210 freeway at Ayala Drive. Eat more chicken.
Coaches, want to know the keys to off-season team speed development? Here we go. Phase 1, early acceleration. This should emphasize short sprinting distances from a variety of positions. Phase 2, near max velocity and the start of change of direction. Here you're going to focus on longer sprinting distances and start to incorporate some change of direction. Phase 3, max velocity and COD. In this phase, we'll focus on max sprinting and some consistent change of direction. Phase 4, speed and agility. This is where we put it all together, make it sports specific, and start incorporating it into every speed session. Boost man.
Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, live and amplified at Teen Vision TV 16. The Rancho Verde football team, they got a big game against Heritage. You can watch it on Teen Vision TV 16 later this week. But of course, it's hard not to look ahead to the final week of the regular season, week number 10, when Rancho Verde will take on Orange Vista, where most likely it'll be for the outright league championship in the Ivy League. Orange Vista, Rancho Verde, Zomalt versus Zomalt. What's not to love, right? We had a chance to interview the 4 Mustang captains about finishing the season strong and maybe winning an Ivy League title.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. We're talking some the Rancho Verde football with the Mustangs and their 4 captains join us here on the show. And guys, appreciate it. We got Dylan Riley, AJ Boone, Jarius Midgett, Nehemiah Jones. And man, guys, listen, if you're a Rancho Verde football fan, you already know that last year you guys finished strong. You finished strong in league play. You made a run in the playoffs. So people knew, Rancho Verde fans knew that the writing was on the wall that you guys are going to be much improved this year. You guys are going to be a lot better. I'll start with Dylan on the end. Dylan, I mean, do you feel like this team is finally living up to its potential? Like you guys, again, like I said, you finished last year so well that you feel like going into this year, you guys, we're on the right track to, prove a lot of doubters wrong.
Yeah, we most definitely are on the right track because, I can tell from this year's team and last year's team, we have, a lot more chemistry within the team. And it's everybody's working together, more than usually. And, you know what I'm saying? Everything's starting to click. Everything with the line is starting to get better within each game. Defense, you can obviously see they making more stops than last year. No shade on the last year's team, but we're just all together just getting better, and we really kind of finding ourselves now where we're at.
Nah, dude, I totally agree with everything you just said. Let me go to AJ Boone on this one. And, AJ, last year's team was great, and you guys really turned some heads, like I said, late in the season during league play and into the playoffs. This year, do you feel like there's a little bit of a target on your back now? Like people are like, okay, Rancho Verde football's back, it's not the same Rancho Verde team we've seen the last couple of seasons. These guys are back to Mustang football. Like we were used to Rancho Verde being one of the best teams.
Yeah, we're one of the best teams out, and I'm glad that, everybody got their money focused and everybody's back on the same track how it was, a couple years ago. And right now, we're getting better, like Dylan said, each and every day, every week, it's a different week for offense and defense. And at the end of the week, we all come back together as a team and go out and dominate on Friday and sometimes Thursday nights. And that's what we've been doing. We've been working all offseason, so we've been working. And some people really don't see that until we show that out on Friday night.
And Jarius, you're nodding, man. So, does it feel good? When you put in a lot of work, how does it make you feel knowing that you guys have a great record, you're in a great spot to make the playoffs? If you put in the work and you see good results, right?
It feels good. Been doing this since the summer. We started earlier last year, just trying to make sure we get everything together, make sure we're good for this season.
And Jarius, you guys are coming off a big win against Elsinore. Elsinore's usually got a pretty good team, but that was a decisive win for you guys. What did you do? Not you, but just the team in general. What did the Mustangs do well to get that win against Elsinore?
We were just focusing on being physical and just dominating every single play. It's working.
And Nehemiah, what did you do against Elsinore that you feel like, man, hopefully this team can continue that, have it carry over against Heritage this week? What did you guys do that you can build off of?
I think that we played very physically. We beat them on point of attack. Played really well all bunch of the game. So I think that's one.
Now, guys, it's hard not to look ahead to week number 10, right? Obviously, Orange Vista is now a rival. It's Zomalt versus Zomalt. The league title will probably be on the line, barring something crazy this week. It's hard not to look ahead, but let me go back to Dylan. I'm going to go right across the row again. But what would it mean for you guys to bring home an Ivy League championship? You're in a good spot right now. It'll probably boil down to the very last game of the year, but what would it mean to you guys?
I mean, it would be a lot. Like, we would love to win every game forward now. So obviously I pray, I believe that we're gonna be 9-1 within the season. But as of right now, we kind of focused on heritage. We got to execute, but we still preparing within OV. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just keeping our mind focused on where we at now. So,
how about you, AJ? Kind of the same feeling. Obviously, you got to get past Heritage first, but it's hard not to look ahead and be like, man, that's a big one against Orange Vista coming up.
Yeah, I can go what he's saying. It's very exciting because I know a lot of people played over there too. So it's a very exciting game that we're all looking forward to. But right now, what Dylan said, for our focus right now is on this game we got this week. Mm-hmm. But then once next week hit, then it's on the crack. We lock in next week.
Jarius, this offense has been great this year. You guys can throw the football. You can run the football. You guys can find different ways to pick the opponent apart. What do you think makes the offense so successful this year?
I think it's the way we all came together. We have a good bond. So bond really shows on the field when we're working together, just having play.
And Nehemiah, here we go. Two weeks left in the regular season, and you guys are poised to not only make the playoffs, but hopefully make a great playoff run like you guys did last year. Do you feel like, as good as Rancho Verde is right now, do you feel like you guys are still getting better and there's still areas that you guys can clean up and improve on?
Oh, of course. Every day, every week, go out and try to be better at it. That's what we put there. So, I think this guy, we'll be something.
Well, guys, listen, I really appreciate the time. I know it's a busy time of the year. You got a big game coming up against Heritage and, of course, Orange Vista in the final week of the regular season. But I do appreciate the time. Congrats on the success so far this season, and best of luck this week.
Sure, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's the Rancho Verde Mustangs here on the Inland Sports Show. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Inland Sports.
And a big thanks to Coach Eric Zomalt for making that happen with the Mustangs captains. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we'll go one-on-one with Liberty head coach Adam Contreras, the Bison with that big win against San Jacinto in Mountain Pass League play. That's next on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.
Hey guys, this is Jason at Ken Sporting Goods. We're almost to 1,000 Instagram followers. Tell your friends, like us, come down, see us. Thank you so much for your loyalty.
Hey, what's up, guys? Look who it is. It's Coach Bass, the Boost Man here at Boost Performance Training. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we've got another gridiron question for you guys out there. And Coach, we're continuing the series. We started it last time on some of the worst things parents can do to stunt the growth of the athlete in their lives. And, of course, they don't want to do that. They're not doing it on purpose. We talked about the worst thing you could do on the last episode, so go check out that video. What's the next one, Coach?
Yeah, Pep, it's definitely too much expectation for other people to help their kids. Look, there are a lot of great coaches out there who can bring real value to your kids' athletic development, but you got to understand that only the student athletes can walk the path. You know, they're the ones that have to put the work in, go to class, and perform on the field. You know, it always kills me to see parents who don't empower their kids with the tenacity to get things done. Instead, they accept the idea that someone else can do it for them. You know, and this is far from the truth. And it's not to say that parents shouldn't invest or rely on coaches who can help with their kids' athletic development. You know, parents should try their best to invest in qualities that can be measured, because this removes all ambiguity in terms of what that coach has actually done for their child, and parents can see real growth. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you check in for the next Gridiron, where we talk about what you parents can do to help with your child's athletic development.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Rialto, right off the 210 freeway at Ayala Drive. Eat more chicken.
And welcome back, everybody. Coming up in just a moment, Liberty head football coach Adam Contreras. But first, let's take a quick peek at the Boost Top 25 poll after week number 8. Not a lot of change at the top with Centennial, but picks 2 through 5 were voted on by the fans on social media. Chaparral, Vista Murrieta, Citrus Valley, Murrieta Valley. Of course, a little bit of a shakeup because Chaparral beat Murrieta Valley. But remember, Vista Murrieta beat Chaparral, and Citrus Valley obviously beating Cajon was a big factor there. So we got some big games coming up in week 9 and week 10, so I'm sure the rankings will change again. But that's how the Boost Top 25 looks right now. You got Liberty just on the outside at number 11. We had a chance to talk to Bison head coach Adam Contreras. Big win against San Jacinto, maybe the biggest win in that young Bison history. Here's our interview with head coach Adam Contreras.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He's the head football coach for the Liberty Bison, coming off that big win in the Mountain Pass League against San Jacinto. Is Adam Contreras. Live from the baby's room, right, Coach? I mean, man, you just had another baby, and you're getting you're outnumbered in your own house now.
I am. It's awesome. I lost my office, you know, but this is Remy May's room, and this is her room, and the women rule this house 100%. Rule the house.
Well, Coach, I mean, what a football season. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, in addition to the family, and you've got Liberty in a great spot coming off, I don't know, maybe its biggest win in its short, program history. I mean, what's it like being Adam Contreras right now?
I can't complain. Things are going great. You're right. I had a baby on the, couple weeks. I say a couple weeks ago. She's already a month.
Oh my gosh.
Time has flown by. So, I was able to take a couple weeks off, spend time with the family and with Ranger and my wife. The football season's going well. We're getting better every week. Obviously the Del Norte loss was a tough one, and I watched that from my couch, so it was tough. Because any day now that the baby was coming, but yeah, San Jacinto win, man, whew, that was exciting. We did it.
Yeah, obviously this is your first senior class, but in the short history of Liberty, I would say that's probably its biggest win, right? Because San Jacinto was the 4-time Mountain Pass League champion, and they've been so good. Galliano did such a great job. They're a CIF champion. That was a signature win for the Bison.
Absolutely, it's fair to say. Galliano does a great job with those guys. It was 20 straight they won in a Mountain Pass. And so, yeah, I would say up to this point, definitely a signature win, for the program.
Coach, high school football is such a funny thing, like I know the players could have a bad test grade or they're arguing with their girlfriend. Like there's so many things that could be going on, besides football. But, like 1 week, you guys have this battle against West Valley, and you hold on at the very end and keep them out of the end zone on the final play. And then you turn around and get the biggest win in program history. Is it just kind of fun to look at an entire football season? Like you said, man, maybe we should have beat Del Norte, even though you weren't physically there. Like maybe we should have beat Del Norte. The West Valley game was so close. Oh, but we beat San Jacinto. Like it's kind of like ebbs and flows and ups and downs. And
It is. It's ups and downs, and you just kind of hold on for dear life. And you look at the West Valley game. Oh man, they're good. Yeah. And so we're just really, honestly, hanging on to the last second, to the last play. And Skelton was able to make that tackle. And there were a lot of other plays that happened in the course of that game. But man, and then again, you look at the San Jacinto where. Wow, I'm still in shock. I'm still amazed. I knew we had it in us, but it was just, to come into fruition. It was awesome. But the highs and lows, we've been holding on for dear life for these roller coasters. So.
But that's what it's all about, right? Like you wanted to be in this position. I know you, of course, you're a Broach protege. You guys were in huge games at Heritage. You guys were playing for CIF championships and had big rivalry games and battling Rancho Verde and those things. Like you want to be in this spot though, right?
Yes, this is exactly. And that's a message, we told the guys, like, guys, this is where you want to be. These are the games that you want to play to see how good you are. And what got us thinking about that is when we played Citrus Hill and they had the CIF championship emblem on their field. And that was my first year with Broach. And we looked at that and like, man, like we need to get there again. And so again, the San Jacinto game is an opportunity for us to see where we were. We knew we had it in us, but you want those types of games, the big games, and that was a big game.
So what's kind of the message, Coach, in the final 2 weeks of league play, the regular season, to stay the course, finish out undefeated in league play, get that football league championship, and then focus on the playoffs. So what's kind of the message in these final two league games?
Yeah, absolutely. So. Our first and foremost goal was to win the league championship, and really we control our own fate. And Paris is good; they have some athletes, and then you have Takowitz, and the message is keep this train rolling, and we do that by going to work every day and and work on us. And it's always been the message on let's take care of us. And then the rest will follow. And so our guys really have taken that to heart and bought in and are playing hard, and they believe in themselves. And so we just got to keep the train rolling.
Coach, from the video that I've seen, these Liberty teams are kind of reminiscent of Heritage. You can run the football, you're physical, you're going to play hard defense and fly around. How would you kind of describe, the brand of Liberty football this season that has led to so much success so far?
Yeah, it definitely looks familiar. Kind of deja vu when, life over there at Heritage. But again, Broach is Broach. He's going to pound the ball, and we're huge up front. Our offensive line is huge. They're physical, and with our quarterback being able to throw the ball, that helps as well, where we can complete and throw it deep on you at any given time. With Quinones to Velasco, and 2 to 3 really good running backs looks familiar as well. And so that's what it is. We're going to hit you in the mouth offensively. Defensively, we're going to fly around and be stingy with, giving up points. And, that's kind of been our MO all year, is just, working together as a team to be physical and hit you in the mouth on offense, and then defense fly around and make you work to score.
Coach, when you look at this team, you can play a low-scoring defensive field position battle against West Valley and then turn around and go into a firefight with San Jacinto, just back and forth, a track meet and a ton of points. What do you think it says about this Bison team that regardless of who you're playing or the style of the game that kind of pans out, you guys find a way to win? High-scoring, low-scoring, doesn't matter.
Yes, and that's been a huge opportunity for us can we pull it out in the final minutes? Can we pull it off? And we were able to do that, a couple of times this year and really see what you're made of. It's easy to say, okay, because San Jacinto, that's a high octane offense. They have weapons and they have that new quarterback. Man, he's good. Yeah. And so they could score at any given time. And, credit to our guys is, we didn't give up, and it just shows, what kind of guys we have that they're willing to battle to the end and not. God, we were hurting. Our guys were hurting. My middle linebacker's looking at me. He's like, "Coach, let's do this." All right, his shoulders are hurting. So he goes in and you look at our running backs are like banged up. Like, hey, let's keep it going. And so it really speaks volumes of what kind of guys that we have this year. And, it's going to get us, pretty far this year, I think.
When you followed Broach to Liberty, did you guys have any sort of like a long-term blueprint, like a plan, like, by year 5, we should be in a CIF championship game, or by year 10, we should have I don't know if there was any sort of like a roadmap, like, okay, by year this, we should do this, by year this, or is it just, hey, you guys are already with your first senior class winning a lot of football games. Did you guys have a plan?
Absolutely not. It was like, guys, we finally because a lot of us came over. Mm-hmm. The staff looks very familiar, and it was like, we finally get to breathe. There's no expectation for us, and we get to coach. Our coaching staff, I truly enjoy them. We have a great coaching staff. We enjoy each other. Broach officiated my wedding. We all talk on a daily basis. So it was mostly just, hey, let's coach with guys we enjoy being around with, and if we win a couple games, let's do it. So we had no plan. But the competitor comes out of you, and it's like, all right, we actually can be really good. All right, let's start putting stuff together. Let's start seeing how good we could be, and we're getting there.
I know you still have 2 league games left. Is it too early to, think playoffs? I don't know if you guys officially clinched a playoff spot yet based on where the standings are, but is it too early to start thinking playoffs and, what this team might be capable of doing in the postseason?
Always early to talk about playoffs, like playoffs,
yeah.
But, if we handle business this week and we perform like we know we can, it sets us up for playoffs, and then let's see how far we can keep this train rolling. Let's see how far we could get. But the whole cliche, I'm going to be boring for you right now, it does start this Thursday with Paris. They can beat us. They have some weapons, and we need to stay focused, and we need to prepare for them, and kind of take it game by game. But can we do well? Absolutely.
So mathematically speaking, if you beat Paris this week, you'd have at least a share, right, of the league title. Yeah.
Correct. Mathematically speaking, yes. And I'm a math teacher, so that's yes. I can say that. Yes.
You can vouch for me there, Coach. Too, I don't want to leave anybody out at Liberty, but the wrestling teams had a tremendous amount of success already. The softball team, getting to the CIF final. So it's like they already have programs on campus, doing some awesome things. So you feel like it's almost contagious. Like, hey, there's a lot of cool things happening at Liberty right now.
It is. Some of my best friends are head coaches of these programs here at Liberty. Again, you look at golf, water polo, cross country, track, tennis. My boy Baca killing it at tennis. He's a heritage guy, and Pena the softball, and Coach Hogg with wrestling. So it is contagious. It's almost like we have to step it up so we can be on their level. And so, but yeah, you look across the board, and man, it's awesome. The buy-in that we have across the board, it's contagious. Our athletic director, Coach Moore, and our principal, Dr. Tejeda, man, they really set us up as coaches for success. They give us, what we want, what we need to run a program, and they're the best around.
And that's so important. Coaches who know. Like, that's not just lip service. Like, if you don't have admin in your corner, it's a rough go.
Of course, yeah. If you know, you know. So it's definitely it's made it a lot easier for sure.
All right, Coach, last question. You kind of touched on it in the very beginning. You mentioned it, but your wife is doing well. The new baby's doing well. The big brother's doing well. Everything's good at home? Everything's great at home. My parents were from Texas. They were able to visit my son and daughter. They were here for 2 weeks. They just left today. So things are going great. Ranger's still adjusting. He's still getting used to little Remy May, but he loves her maybe too much, where he's like booping the nose and wants to give her 1,000 kisses. But he's working on his arm. He throw the ball 100 times a day, and we're doing push-ups so he can protect his little sister. Yeah.
Things are going great in the Contreras household.
That's awesome. Probably not a lot of sleep. Busy time of the year, football and babies and all kinds of stuff.
I know. My wife said, "Hey, wash your eyes or something. You look tired." Where are you going with those bags under your eyes? like, man, will you be nice to me?
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, you going on vacation with those bags? But it's a roasting and romance. That's what she called it, roasting and romance. So,
it's fun. I tell my wife, and she knows this, one of my favorite hobbies is just annoying her. It's just messing with her, yeah. So.
I love that hobby. I share in that hobby, so.
Well, Coach Contreras, congrats, man, on the growing family. Congrats on the big win against San Jacinto. And I know there's still a lot of football for you guys this season beyond the regular season and the league play. So congrats on everything so far, Coach.
Thank you, Pep. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. That's Adam Contreras, the head football coach for the Liberty Bison, here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
And that's Adam Contreras, head football coach for the Liberty Bison. Let's take a look at our Inland Sports Week 8 All-Stars, because we have a Liberty Bison on the list. Andre Skelton, big game on the ground in that win against San Jacinto. QB Jake Bester at Temecula Valley, doing it through the air. Also ran for 157 and a touchdown. Jacoby Pointer Caldwell at Ike, 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. A big win against Rupa Hills. Hillcrest quarterback Christian Alvarado, 333 through the air, 4 touchdowns, and he caught a touchdown, which we'll show you in just a moment. Chaparral quarterback Dash Byerly, 273, 3 touchdowns in that big win against Murrieta Valley. And Vista Del Lago QB Larry Joyce, 358 and 5 touchdowns. Those are the Week 8 Inland Sports All-Stars. Now, we just mentioned Christian Alvarado, big play this past week. Let's go to the Big Boost play of the week, and here it is. The Hillcrest Special, kind of like the old Philly Special by the Eagles, where, look at that, the receiver comes back around. That is Matt Ramos, and he throws to the quarterback, Christian Alvarado, wide open in the final seconds as Hillcrest stuns Patriot in the final seconds of the Hillcrest Special. Take one more look. You can see the receiver coming back, throws to the quarterback, and there he is. The Big Boost play of the week, Christian Alvarado. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show. We're going to hear from J.P. Raineri from the Valley News. That's next on the Inland Sports Show.
Coaches, here are 3 keys to building a great speed session. Check it out. Number 1, the dynamic warm-up. This should increase tissue temperature and be specific to the movement you're doing in your session. Number 2, plyometrics. For power development, this should be done right after the dynamic warm-up when athletes are still fresh and should be consistent to the movement you're doing in your session. Number 3, mix technique with application. Your speed session should be reps, 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 followed by mechanics to reinforce good technique, then back to the reps. And remember, always emphasize quality over volume, and greater distances should have lower overall volume. Boost Man.
And a big thanks to Boost and Ken Sporting Goods for supporting the Inland Sports Show. We really do appreciate it. Well, down in Southwest Riverside County, nobody covers local sports like JP Raineri, and the Valley News had a chance to talk to him about all those great Southwestern League, old Southwestern League football teams in the Big West Conference, Liberty, Elsinore, all kinds of great stuff. Here is JP.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. This guy is holding it down for the Valley News in Southwest Riverside County. It's my guy, JP Raineri. And JP, man, Southwest Riverside County is a great place for high school sports. I know we're deep into high school football right now. It must be fun covering, the Big West Conference. And, we got some other schools like Paloma and Liberty and some other different leagues. But overall, just the football in that area, I mean, it's always been at a high level, but I feel like this year it's really high.
I could probably go on for days about how I really feel about how the league structure is out here. But with all that said, just super competitive out here, and it really, you never know what you're going to get every week. You think that you're going to go cover a great Vista Murrieta, Norco game, or a great Murrieta Valley Chaparral game, and it was a great game, by the way. But you're thinking one end and the other end happens, and you never know what you're going to get, and I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, right now we do our Boost Top 25, and I'm like, okay, so Vista Murrieta beat Chaparral, but Chaparral just beat Murrieta Valley, and my poor brain is just like, oh no, I can't do this, because they're all so good and they're all so competitive and they're all so equal. It's just very tough, but I think that just it bodes well for the area that there's just such good high school football down there. What's sad is I think one of those schools might not make the playoffs. I mean, depending how it works out.
Yeah, absolutely, and I commend a lot of the the youth leagues in our area. These guys are prepping early, transfers obviously coming in and helping out a great deal. But I really give it up to what a lot of these feeder schools do as they prepare these guys for getting to that high school level, because there is an expectation. A lot of these high schools, you can be that guy that comes in and you can wait till your third quarter to get some play time, but unless you're a playmaker, you gotta conform to the rules and regularities of what these head coaches expect, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Going back to this past week at least, JP, Liberty knocking off San Jacinto was obviously a huge game. Your boy Adam Contreras, the head football coach for the Bison, he's going to be on the show this week as well. Awesome. And that was, this is their first senior class. That was probably, I know the school's barely been around, but probably their biggest win in their short school history, a signature victory. Between covering those Big West Conference schools, and you got Liberty in the Mountain Pass, and you've got obviously the Raincross Conference, Elsinore, Paloma Valley, and some other those schools down there. Is it hard in terms of trying to decide what's the big game, and what game deserves coverage? Who knew Liberty was going to beat San Jacinto like that?
It's funny that you say that. I'm probably going into every Wednesday night. And it's probably good that I don't have a lot of hair left, because, I'm at this point, you're pulling your hair out. You're like, I want to call this the game of the week, but there's this game over here. And then, for us, I battle with still photography. I wish we were doing video. That's kind of what, you and I have talked about, and maybe down the road we help out a lot with that. But man, just my photographers alone, that I have to hear on a weekly basis, as far as like, what they feel is the game of the week, because they're out there on the front lines and, they're seeing what's going on. And I'm trying to find myself, in one press box on a Friday night as I've got, 17 different streams going on. So, and Thursday nights now too. Yeah. So, and Saturday days. So, like you don't know. It's a gamble every week. And I wish I would have been at the Liberty game because Skelton and Rellis, those guys are beasts. And I actually got to see them a lot last year. So I'm really what a game! Like what a game! Yeah. I'm very impressed.
As we have 2 weeks left in the regular season, what do you think what's the biggest storyline, or maybe a couple storylines, with 2 weeks left to go in the regular season? Of course, I look at the Big West Conference and I'm thinking there's going to be a really good team or two not making the playoffs just because it's so good. The emergence of Liberty. I know Elsinore's got a big game against North coming up this week. That could be a playoff spot. Like, in terms of at least Southwest Riverside County, where do you see the big storylines?
And it is what it is. We pay attention to the former Southwestern League probably more than any of the other leagues. Yeah. I could go on for days about how I really feel about the Big West Conference. I have some ideas that I don't know if anybody would ever listen to, but, my thought process on this whole thing is, Centennial they're just a powerhouse. And who's going to come in and, who's going to even compete with them right now, because nobody has. And so with that said, here we are looking to your second and third place games. And is that going to be your Murrieta Valley? Is it going to be your Vista Murrieta? I know that they play each other that last week. What's the telltale sign of who's going to get that, automatic bid? Because with Chaparral, finally coming around, I know they played great football the last 2 weeks, but finally coming around and getting that win, that was huge for them. And I know, watching Bear on your show last week, and I know they had a lot of high hopes. What's that going to do now? I think those bottom tier teams in the upper division, unfortunately, those are probably top teams in your lower division. Yeah. Your top teams in your lower division are probably your bottom tier teams in your upper division. So I think, this is me on my soapbox here. Let's see those higher lower end teams, if you're following me, bump up to the upper division, and let's bring those other guys down next season, obviously. But as we're talking about the playoffs, I think that, Murrieta Mesa, Great Oak, that was a great game. Yeah. This week right here is going to tell a lot, I feel like, for what's at stake there. So, well,
if I can just jump in real quick, because I want to get your take on this too. Like, we just interviewed King head coach Jason McMains, and for King, they're going to finish up with Temecula Valley this week, and then they've got Murrieta Mesa in the final week, and it's basically for at least King and probably Temecula Valley too. Like, the playoffs start this week. Yeah. Like they need to win out. Like, let's assume for our conversation, Great Oak's going to win the league. Yeah. And then it's going to be Murrieta Mesa, Temecula Valley, and King battling for second and third place. That's a huge game. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Who would have thought that it's coming down to this? So, if I had a magic 8-ball in front of me, and I'm hoping for that undecided. Like your outlook is undecided right now. That's what I'm hoping for. I can't see what's going to happen with that.
JP, let me ask you too about the city of Temecula. In terms of cities across the IE who really value this city championship, where they actually have the teams in their city, they all get to play each other. I wish other places would do it, like maybe like Moreno Valley, maybe Redlands to a degree, like these cities who take a lot of pride in having that city championship. Temecula loves their city championship, and Chaparral loves to put it out there that they are the Temecula city champions, and they deserve it. Coach Raymer's done a great job down there, but there's a lot of pride, right, in saying you're the city champs down in Temecula.
Oh man, I love that, Pep. That's awesome. So here's my Temecula rant on that one. Let's stop that. Let's stop the whole city championship thing, because now. Because we're in such a tiered division, you're keeping your former Southwestern League dreams and your rivalry there, but are you really city champs? I mean, I know, like, are you feeling good about that? Because, you just whooped up on Temecula Valley, and they're a lower division team, and Great Oaks, a lower division team. And I don't ever see, here's the thing with that. I like what EPJ does. I think he calls them the South Division. I think he kind of steered away. I think it's EPJ. I think he calls them the South Division. I like that a lot more because you're kind of not like stapling them to this like, hey, cool, if you're not watching the Murrieta Valley Vista Murrieta game, bring your popcorn and come watch this other game,
Yeah, I feel weird saying lower, like the Big West lower. I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't sound right.
We didn't even need to go with two Big Wests, but anyways, I think it's cool that there is that city championship rivalry. I would love to see it a lot more competitive. I know Murrieta has the same thing going on, but they didn't really take to social media like Chaparral did, and obviously it hasn't even been decided yet either. That's going to be a good one when it comes down to it in that final week, and you'll probably see it. Whoever wins that last game. But, here you got Murrieta Mesa, who's doing a phenomenal job. I love their strength of schedule. I love what McBride did.
Yeah.
To be able to go 0-5 right out of the gate, and people just look at those numbers outside of the fact that who did you just play? And then you come out, and now you're 2-1. And I understand that, Great Oaks, that was a game you really wanted. But they're going to make the playoffs. In my opinion, and more power to them. So that's another hard one to call a city championship as well, because are you really getting the best of the best out of your city championship? But hey, it's Temecula. They're over the top. It's Murrieta. They got to deal with Temecula being over the top. So it is what it is, right?
JP, let me finish with this. At least one of the big storylines going into the season, I think it's still a storyline, is just the return of Coley Candell, obviously, at Vista Murrieta. And, not that Vista Murrieta was bad the last couple of years, but it wasn't like the Vista Murrieta I knew about 10 years ago. Where Coley has them right now, I know they're coming off a tough loss to Centennial, but a lot of teams come off a tough loss to Centennial. But I feel like Coley, man, this is a big bounce back year for the Broncos.
For sure. Fired up. I'm fired up for Vista Murrieta. I know a lot of people in Murrieta are as well. It's good to see, and Eric did a great job with those guys. It's kind of funny when you get handed the reins and then handed them back. It kind of reminds me of like what happened with Great Oaks baseball and Eric Morton. Leave for a year, come back. Leave for a year, but baseball is a whole other thing we'll talk about later. But I think it's great. I love seeing Coley back out there. He's got a passion for the game. His kids are getting a lot older now, and I know that was a big factor in him stepping away for a minute, and what he's done with the track and field. And it's just he's a guy that you're rooting for, and he's also a guy that when you're playing against him, you're not rooting for him. So obviously, but I'm excited for the future of Vista Murrieta. And shoot, I mean, look what they're doing now. They got guys setting records on touchdown receptions, and
Brody Gwynn.
Phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, JP, nobody covers the Southwest like you guys. Where can they find the Valley News? I know there's a print edition, online. There's a lot of different places.
Appreciate it. So we've got our subscriber base that you can get the print edition. We still print out about 60,000 copies of the paper weekly. I know a lot of people, it's kind of like, hey, where can I find it? We are in Walmart, CVS, really in the Southwest Riverside County area. And then, you can be at your local doctor's office and grab a copy as well. You never know where you're going to find it. But I always want people to visit myvalleynews.com. And then, of course, our social media presence is really kicking right now. So I'm very proud of the collaboration with you guys and all the help that you guys have given us as well. So it's just at the Valley News on Instagram and Twitter. And if we're not covering your school, let us know. And we're happy to intake as much information as people want to give us.
I got mine at the French Valley Airport, so they could be anywhere. You just never know.
Exactly. I stopped. People ask me what time, and I'm like, I just give the flat answer of Walmart and CVS because you never know. I never know. So
that is JP Raineri from the Valley News. JP, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Let's do this again soon. Maybe in the playoffs. I know there's going to be local teams in your area going to the playoffs.
hey, there's going to be some heavy hearts and a lot of high hopes. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely down to check in. Thanks, Pat.
Inland Sports.
All right, good stuff, JP. That is myvalleynews.com, and make sure you pick up a copy of the Valley News down in Southwest Riverside County. Big thanks to our guest, JP, of course, Liberty head football coach Adam Contreras, the Rancho Verde football captains, and Centennial running back Cornell Hatcher. Big thanks to our guy, Johnny Nunez, behind the scenes here at Teen Vision TV 16. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.